What is up, home slices? I should probably think of something to say at the beginning of every video instead of sounding like a jackass, but we're gonna stick to sounding like a jackass for now. I just got done with my leg workout. I'm going to go home, eat, and then I think I'm gonna hop on a video and talk about my programming and why it is the way it is. But just a little heads up. My opinion is that you should only stick to doing a few exercises per session. If you're doing like upwards of 10 and 12 exercises, not reps, not sets, per session, then I don't know if you're getting the most bang for your buck. You're kind of just going all over the place. And if you lift with intention, then you can do less exercises and die faster, because I was done with 2 exercises. I had 5 sets, or 5 like exercises. 2 of them were supersets, so a little bit more than that, but 5. And I got done with the first 2 and I was like on the ground. Like the trainers at the gym were like looking at me because I just looked like I was in the worst pain ever, and I was, but in the good kind of way, you know. I said that I was going to come back and talk about my train. Oh, wow, Gus, you're so perfect. Gus. He's perfect. What about Grace? Grace, are you coming to say hi? This is Grace. Hank, did you want to come say hi? Oh, wow, they're all coming. Oh, thank you, Hank. Oh, so sweet. So perfect. So I said, thank you for the toy. Oh, thank you, Gracie. You're so sweet. I would talk about my dogs. Is that what you want me to do? That's what I will do. My training. I have mentioned before more about what it's like, but I thought I would go a little bit more in depth. And hopefully it gives you some clarity about how you should structure your training. And also a little bit in this, I'm going to talk about why coaches need coaches. And yeah, I just ate like 1,000 calories in a minute. My training is currently lower body focused, and you've probably heard me say this before, but when I was on stage over 6 months ago, I had the biggest problem with my legs. Now, this isn't to say I didn't work hard on my legs, but it is to the fact that I have the genetics of holding more fat in my lower body. A lot of girls have that in general. A lot of women hold it in their lower stomach, their lower back, and their legs. Along with that, I still needed to recomp my body, and I've made posts on this before, but I'll just kind of give a little revamp of what a recomposition is. So you can't spot reduce fat on your body. You can't say, I want to lose fat in my stomach, do a bunch of abs, and all of a sudden you lose fat in your stomach. Not how it works. What you have to do is go through periods of weight gain and weight loss. Oh my gosh, I ate that food way too fast. So when you go through periods of bulking and cutting, or weight gain and weight loss, or dieting and not dieting, that allows your body to change. So when you start at, I'm going to pop up some pictures. When you start at this body and then you cut to this body, then you have lost fat, but you've also lost muscle. So then I continued to cut into my show. So I didn't have that much muscle, but I lost a lot of fat. So when you lose fat, you gotta lose fat from somewhere. Sometimes it takes a longer, like my legs were really hard to get fat off of. And my stomach was hard to get fat off of. But then by growing more and bulking again, I'm building more muscle and trying to keep fat gain to a minimum. So if this doesn't make sense to you, so say you start out bigger, you lose a bunch of fat, then you try to gain a bunch of muscle by keeping minimum fat off. When you are gaining muscle, you're gaining weight because it's muscle, you're putting on things on your body. You're gaining muscle, you're also gaining fat, but that fat is to a much smaller degree. And the places where you've been working those muscles, then there's less like space, this doesn't sound scientific at all. Your fat goes other places. It's just your body is constantly changing. If I work, even if I'm a bigger human being, if I'm working my shoulders, when I lose the weight, my muscle's gonna be there and it's gonna show my shoulder muscles. So then when I gain weight back, then yeah, some fat might go to different places genetically. I know now, I genetically, and I have in my lower back, that is where my lower back and lower stomach is where my fat is. And my legs have leaned out now more than they've ever in the past, and they're looking lean when I'm 20 pounds heavier. Okay, so my training is focused on my legs because they didn't have enough muscle. So then when I tried to cut weight, then they just ended up looking like more of that like skinny look, which isn't bad. You can like that and you can want that for yourself. But for stage, that's not what I needed. And I just needed to recomp my body and make my legs look different. So I have 3 lower body days a week, and I also have 2 to 3 upper body days. Now I try to take 2 rest days because I think rest days are important. They're important for your sanity. They're important for letting your body rest and grow. Like being a human being, sometimes you don't have the time or the want to go to the gym for 2 hours every day. It helps with adherence, and it helps with a lot of things. So I would suggest having 1 to 2 rest days a week if possible. So the days that I have 2 rest days, then obviously I won't have all 3 upper body days. But again, we also are trying to get up my rear delts. So on my leg days, I do some back work as well, and rear delts. Rear delts are not your back, but I'm saying I do both on leg days. And that's what I've been up to. So I have Alex doing my training and Nick doing my nutrition, as he always has. And I feel like dying every time I go into a session. I'm going to put this workout that I did this morning on my Body Space profile. I'll leave that in the description below. You can like request to follow me on there. And it's really cool because you can see people's progress pictures, their motivation, and their workouts. I'm also going to try, when I have time, to upload all of my progress pics from prep till now, since I started working with Nick, just so you guys can get a sense of the way that I look certain days. And like, it's nice to see like something real from someone. Not saying that people are fake, but like, and I'm not saying you should judge yourself on my progress, but it's just cool to be able for me to look back and for you guys to see how things change week to week if you're interested. Hitting legs, lots, and doing lots of stuff for my hamstrings and glutes. Still working quads because even though I'm quad dominant, I still think it's helpful to do quad work. Like today I had leg extensions. And the reason for this is like, you just shouldn't stop training a muscle completely unless it is going to hinder how you look on stage. But if you're like an average person, average not supposed to be in a bad way, then like just get strong, I guess, or just look the way you want to. I really don't care what you do. But for hamstring and glute training, what I've been doing is hip thrusts, but I've been doing them lightweight. I'm focusing on execution. I've been doing RDLs, which kill, and if you get the execution down, thank me later. Nick was like, you got to start doing RDLs more every day, 17 times a day. I'm like, I got it. My legs need to change. What else? High foot placement leg press, leg curl, and I think that's what I'm focusing on right now. Okay, last thing. Why do coaches need coaches? So you might say, Sue, first off, why do you have 2 coaches? Second off, you're trying to be a fitness professional. Why do you need a coach? Are you saying you ain't smart enough? I got a few things to say about that. Reason I have 2 coaches. Nick has been my coach for almost a year. And when I first started with him, he did my training and nutrition. And all through prep, he did it. He did them both, and I loved it. But when prep ended, I really needed some time to myself to go into the gym and have fun and not have to look strictly at a schedule and follow it. I was almost burnt out, and I didn't want to become burnt out. So, and I couldn't afford to pay for training anymore because having a coach is expensive. And so I decided that nutrition was very important to me and I could do the training. So I had been doing my training for like 4 months, 3 or 4 months. And then I Alex, who's with IFYM Apparel and does their coaching, he saw what I was doing, and he was like, you need to execute that better. You need a better plan and a better thing to follow if you want to be like a different physique on stage. Been doing my training to help with things that I can't always see. So that comes back around to, why do you need a coach? As humans, we are our worst critics, and we don't see things the way everyone else sees them. We cannot be completely objective. There are some people who coach themselves and they can do it and they are great, and props to you. But I know myself. I know that I cannot look at myself objectively, and I lie to myself a lot. I tell myself things are okay when they're not, and I don't push myself as hard as I need to, because like the person I am, I would just rather be more lackadaisical about it. As long as I'm making forward progress, if it's not super fast, I don't care. And that is one of my downfalls. I recognize that, and I take that downfall and I ask myself what I could do about it. I could put that in someone else's hands. So instead of being like, oh yeah, I should definitely have a cheat meal this week, or I should definitely have a refeed, I'm not the best at knowing, like, judging my own body. I can send pictures to Nick and be objective about those pictures, but in the end, like, Nick knows what I need to do and what I need to get going. And Nick and Alex can both look at my body and say, and not in a mean way, like, hey, you're fat, or hey, you need to do this. They say it in a way that they know I'm going to respond to. Alex says, you need to push harder. You need to be better. You need to work on these things, or you won't have the physique you want on stage. And for some people that might be really hard to hear. I need to hear that. I need that tough love. And that's why I love Nick as my coach, because he never tries to sugarcoat it. He never tries to sugarcoat anything. He just gives me an answer, and he's not rude about it, but he's blunt about it. So my mom just got home. I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Peace out.